Hi everyone, it's me Catherine, the hands behind Walton Cake Boutique. This is my first video tutorial on my channel in which I am going to chat throughout the video instead of adding captions. I think this will make it much easier to explain the steps in my tutorials. I hope you enjoy this way of learning and let me know what you think in the comments. In this video I'm going to show you step by step how I made an easy tray cake. I will be using a 7 by 10 inches baking pan or tray. And this one is very shallow and it's only about 1 inch deep. Before I make the cake batter, I first like to line the pans I'm going to use. There are different ways to line your baking pans, but I find the butter and flour method the easiest, quickest and most effective. First, I spread the butter onto the tray or pan and I like to make sure I cover all the areas, including the corners and up to the edges of the pan. You can use your fingers or a pastry brush, which will help to give an even coverage. Once the whole tray is covered with butter, I sprinkle some flour onto the pan. I shake the flour around the pan so that it can cover it completely and evenly. You can also use a large decorating brush to dust some flour in harder to reach areas such as the sides and the corners. After that, you can shake off the excess flour by tapping the tray onto a hard surface or the table you're working on. Now that the pan is ready, I'm going to make the cake batter. To make my vanilla cake recipe, you will need 240 grams of salted butter, 440 grams of caster sugar, 6 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 jumbo-sized eggs or 5 to 6 small eggs, 500 grams of cake flour or plain flour or all-purpose flour, 6 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 350 ml of buttermilk. Make sure that the butter, eggs and buttermilk are at room temperature. You can make this recipe in a stand mixer or handheld mixer. Add the butter into a large bowl and beat until soft and pale. Scrape the bowl as needed. Add all the sugar into the bowl and beat until we're combined. Always scrape the bowl if needed. Add the vanilla extract and mix again. Add the eggs and beat them until they're completely mixed in. Remember to scrape the bowl to make sure all the ingredients are combined. Add the combined flour, baking powder and baking soda in small batches, followed by a small amount of buttermilk. In this step, use a silicone spatula to combine all the ingredients. Remember not to overmix the batter and stop mixing once all the flour has disappeared into the batter. Pour the batter into the baking tray. Depending on the size of your tray and how many you have, you may have some leftover batter. You can either bake another batch straight after or only make half a batch of this recipe. Whatever size tray you have, make sure you only fill to about half, leaving room for the batter to rise when you bake the cake. If you're going to bake more than one cake, make sure you fill about the same amount of batter into each pan. I'm going to bake my tray cakes for 25 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius in a conventional oven setting. After 25 minutes, I removed the cake trays from the oven. I used a toothpick to check if they had baked through. The toothpick should come out clean. You can then let the cakes completely cool before decorating them. This could take 1 to 2 hours or more. Depending on your oven and the settings you choose, your cakes may yield different results to mine. I have made and baked this cake recipe on both a fan-forced setting and a conventional setting. They both give very different results. The conventional setting gives by far the best results as the cake rises evenly, bakes through without drying out or browning the cake. I made my Swiss meringue buttercream to frost and pipe this cake. You can find my recipe on my website waltoncakeboutique.com and in the link in the video description. I used piping tips Wilton 1M, 6B, 8B, 2D and tip 32. I coloured the Swiss meringue buttercream with Colourmill, which is an all-based food colouring. You can check out all the details in the video description. I will now leave you watching the rest of my video, so please enjoy it and make sure that you do leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I will see you next time. Bye.